Live to Give is about making a difference and stretching yourself, being the very best that you can be every day. Live to Give is also about creating a legacy. What do you want people to remember about you? When students learn the mindset Live to Give, they think about the bigger world and giving back to others in their school and their community. So the next one's Live to Give. And Live to Give, this one makes me think of big things, right? Like giving back at Christmas time, or I'm working at a food pantry, or working at the Humane Society and, logging your volunteer hours. But Live to Give, think about it in a different way. Think about how can you make a difference and stretch yourself. So how can you stretch yourself every day to be the very best person you can be? So you think about I brought up Oprah earlier talking to Maya Angelou, but think about all the money that Oprah's given people. She's given millions and millions of dollars to people. But the money that she's given people is probably not near as important as the inspiration that she gives people, because she just stretches herself to be a good person. So if you think about just doing the very best that you can, stretching yourself to make a difference every day, you can think about it where you're going to say hello to everybody that you walk by in the hallway. You can stand in your doorway and say good morning to your kids instead of, doing, assessments behind your desk. That's what I would do. But just thinking about how can you stretch yourself to make a difference, making a difference in one person's life. One of my very favorite things to do when I was out of the classroom was to do car line. And I loved doing car line because there are kids that got out of the car that I know for a fact that they had not had a smile that morning, and somebody had not given them a good morning hug. And so just making a difference by giving them that one smile or that one hug, how can I make a difference? And then the next piece is receiving gracefully. So it's just what we talked about earlier, that it is really, really hard for us to just say thank you. It is really hard for us to say thank you. We definitely want to make excuses as to why we don't want to accept the compliment, but Jessica said it best. She said that what it does is it discounts their compliment, that it totally cuts off the fact that they believe that about you. So making sure that we just say thank you, and that is something that you have to work on because it is hard and you feel guilty and you don't want to do it, and most of the time you don't believe it. But that's what people see about you. And I'm brought up the way that people see you and the way that you see yourself. So there's a book out there called Sticks and Stones. I think Dave Weber wrote it, and it's about the way that you see yourself, the way others see you, the way you want people to see you, and there's like 7 me's, and that's a pretty interesting book if you're interested in that. So receiving gracefully. And the next one, I'll go back to that video, is leaving a legacy. So leaving a legacy is what we want people to remember about us. What is the legacy we want to leave with other people? But most of the time we think about this when we pass on, or what do we want our children to remember about us, our grandchildren. But think about it in a simpler way. So you're sitting at a table or in a group with your peers, with your friends, and when you walk away from that table, what do they think about you? Are they thinking, man, I wish she would come back. I wish she would come back. Or are they thinking, thank goodness she's gone? What are the words that you use? What's the language that you use? What's the tone that you use? When your kids go from one grade level to the next, were you their favorite teacher? Or were they looking forward to the next grade level, right? So what's the legacy that you lead? And so I was watching a TED Talk one time, and the title was How to Get People to Listen to You. But he said this. He said that if you always remember hail, and to me it was leaving a legacy. He said that if you're always clear and straight in your message, you're always honest, no matter what you say. You're very honest. You're clear and straight in your message. That you're always yourself, so much so that if you weren't yourself, somebody's going to call you out on it and say, hey, what's wrong with you today? Is something going on? So always being yourself. He said to always have integrity, be your word, do what you say you're going to do, show up, be present, have integrity. And then the last one was speaking with love, and this one is hard. He said that if you speak with love, then you won't gossip, you won't speak ill of other people, if you're always wishing them well and speaking with love. And so if you remember hail, then you would leave a legacy. So I was at a Walmart in Jacksonville, Florida, about a year and a half ago. And I'm walking up to this Walmart, and there's a young guy outside holding a sign that says free hugs. And immediately I thought, I'm not giving him a hug. like, he's kind of grungy. He looks like he hasn't taken a bath in a while. He's a little younger than me. That's creepy. I'm not giving him a hug. And so I'm walking up, and in my mind, I'm thinking, I have to give him a hug. I watch this video. I tell people to do this. So of course I give him a hug. And he turns to me and he said, thank you so much for giving me a hug. He said, I was just at Target, and the Target people kicked me out. And so I came to Walmart, and people are way nicer at Walmart. So I was so glad I gave him a hug. So that's Live to Give, just stretching yourself to make a small difference, holding up a free hug sign. Sharon Elementary School, they did something at the beginning of the year called Be the Change, and that was one of the things that they did. A group of teachers went out and held up free hug signs outside one of the grocery stores. So it's just a thing that you can do for free.